Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture 4 of week 7 for our course Metrics and Analytics of Marketing. In this week we had been discussing about the various metrics associated with product and portfolio management. In the last class we have seen critical metrics such as cannibalization rate, and then in today's class we will be moving to another set of metrics which is related to brand equity. Let us first try to understand what do you mean by brand equity. Basically, brand equity refers to the premium that a brand can charge to its consumer just because of the product is from that particular recognized brand. Let me take one example. Let's say I want to purchase a smartphone, and in the market I see that I have evaluated various products, and then I found that there is a brand name XYZ and there is a brand called Samsung. Fine. So, for XYZ the price is 10,000 rupees and for the Samsung phone the price is 12,000 rupees. As far as the product attributes are associated, as far as these product attributes are concerned, both the phones are having the same kind of features. Now, which phone am I going to purchase? Is it XYZ or is it Samsung? So, in this case the possibility can be that I will end up purchasing Samsung and paying a 2,000 rupees premium. Instead of 10,000 I am ready to pay 12,000, right. But in another case, let us say the price of the Samsung phone, the situation is same, otherwise the price of the Samsung phone is 15,000 rupees and price for XYZ brand is 10,000 rupees. Now, I will think whether it is worth paying 5,000 extra just because I know Samsung as a brand. Rest in terms of product attributes, both the products are having the same quality attributes. Now, I will think that instead of paying 50% extra, I will zero down my decision on brand XYZ. So, in this case, in one case, yes, one thing is very clear that I am ready to pay a premium in order to purchase a product which is from a recognizable known brand, that is from Samsung. But what is that amount? So, as per the situation that I have explained just now, it is not 5,000 rupees, it is just 2,000 rupees premium that I am going to pay. So, that 2,000 rupees, the price, the part of the price which is the 2,000 rupees can be attributed to the brand rather than product quality or any other market environments. So, this particular situation, this particular 2,000 premium can be termed as brand equity. So, this is a very complex phenomenon. It is not always quantifiable. It is extremely difficult because the price of a product, the demand for a product is a function of multiple variables, multivariate equations. So, that is why we need to look into various relevant metrics which are related to brand equity. In today's class, we will try to explore this phenomenon. Now, let us try to formally understand what is called brand equity. As for David A. Acker, brand equity is a set of brand assets and liabilities linked to a brand, its name and symbol that add to or subtract from the value provided by the product or service to a firm or to the firm's customers, right. So, basically it is identification of the value. It is more about reliability associated with the name. Something coming from Tata. When I talk about a car that is manufactured by Tata Motors, then I can have a feel without knowing anything about that particular model or variant, I can have a feel that this particular car will be safer because this is related to the brand, right. Brand equity is strategically crucial, as we have understood from the phenomenon. How much premium you can charge is determined by brand equity. So, companies can always try to leverage on its brand equity, but company needs to know what is its brand equity and what is the premium it is able to charge from the market. If it is charging more premium than it deserves, then in that case there will be compromise on the demand. On the other hand, if it is charging a less premium than what it deserves, then in that case the company is losing a lot of money in terms of possible contribution. That is why brand equity is strategically crucial, but it is also famously difficult to quantify. Many experts have developed tools to analyze this asset, but there is no universally accepted way to measure it. In this lecture, we will consider some of the techniques to gain insights about brand equity. So, basically we will be discussing about 4 aspects or 4 different approach to look into brand equity. On the other hand, from a different perspective, from a different standpoint, brand equity can be looked as it is a effect that the brand knowledge has on the consumer response to brand marketing. And this particular definition, if you look at the bottom left paragraph of this slide, so this was given by Kevin Keller. What he says is brand equity is the effect that brand knowledge has on consumer response to brand marketing. Fine. So, now we will be moving to discuss this 6 various approach to look into brand equity as a matrix. So, one is that brand equity 10, which was given by Acker, then brand asset valuator, which was given by Young and Rubicam, then another concept, that is brand equity index, which was given by Moran, then brand finance, and then we will also discuss the approach that is given by Branji and brand valuation model, right. So, let us move in. First, let us try to understand what is the purpose of the brand equity matrix. So, the primary purpose, as we understand, is to measure the value of the brand. I mean, what value, business value is created by the brand, not by the product, not by the competitive advantages, not by any other thing, not by product attributes, not by product performance, but what is the value that is created just because of the brand. Isolation is difficult, but it is important, it is crucial. You can look at this particular graph. When consumer trust a brand and find it relevant, they may select the offerings associated with that brand over those of the competitors, even at a premium price. As I have given the example, like if the price of the 2 phones, 2 same quality phones are priced at 10,000 rupees and 12,000 rupees, still I can end up purchasing the phone with a price of 12,000 rupees because it is from Samsung, right. So, when a brand's promise extends beyond a particular product, its owners may leverage it to enter into the new markets. Brand has this kind of extensive advantage as well. If your brand name is already established in the market and you are doing a product diversification, then using the same brand you can leverage on this. Let us say Amul comes up with some dry fruits product tomorrow, just imaginary example. Then also the quality of the newly to be arrived products will be evaluated based on the brand name associated with Amul, right. So, this way the existing established brands can leverage on the new product as well. For all these reasons, a brand can hold tremendous value known as the brand equity. Now, I think definition wise, concept wise, we have understood what is called a brand equity. It has multiple dimensions. One is how much premium you can charge to your customers for a product which is equivalent to an existing product in the market, but you can still charge a premium for it, right. The same thing can be visualized in this graph. So, what happens if a brand has a low brand equity? In that case, if you look at this one, if you look here, the graph will be, the demand curve will be something like this, that is the graph that is below, and with a high brand equity, the demand curve will have the similar kind of shape, but it will be, the price will be well above the price range that is set for a low brand equity. So, this is the importance of brand equity. That is why companies try to invest a lot of money in order to improve their brand equity. Let us look at this matrix. The first metric, first approach that we will look into is that brand equity 10, which was given by David Acker. So, he was a marketing professor and a brand consultant. Basically, he highlights 10 attributes of a brand that can be used to assess the strength of the brand, and these 10 attributes include your first one is differentiation, whether the brand is able to differentiate itself in the industry or not. Let us say if I talk about Tata Motors in the personal vehicle industry, then in that case how does it differentiate from other companies? Probably from its safety feature, right. When I talk about the Toyota, probably it is differentiating in terms of durability features. So, whether that differentiation you have been able to establish or not, that will influence the brand equity of the brand. Then next one is satisfaction or loyalty. It is dependent on what, I mean, whether the customers are satisfied with your product or not. What was the customers' expectations before purchasing and using your product, and what is their perception of quality after using the product, and based on that satisfaction and loyalty will be derived. Then next one is perceived quality. How does customer look into your brand, whether it is perceived as a high quality brand or it is perceived as a value for money brand, right. Then leadership and popularity. So, in a map, if I put various brands in a map, then in that case where do you stand, whether you are a market leader or you are a market follower. Then next one is perceived value. How does customers perceive the quality of your product? Do they consider it as high performing product, quality product, or do they consider it as a low cost product, or they consider it as a value for money product? This can be seen by a tool called perceptual map. So, we are not going into the detail of what is called a perceptual map, but in what we do in perceptual map is that, let us say we draw 2 or more attributes in the graph, and based on that we put the brands accordingly. For example, if my this one dimensions that I am covering is quality and price, in that case for a smartphone industry, the iPhone will be somewhere in the right top right. On the other hand, the Xiaomi can be somewhere between bottom left, right. So, this way we can calculate or try to visualize perceived value. Then next comes this brand personality. Brand is always associated with, brand personality is just you are trying to put some human characteristics to a brand. So, human characteristics means, let us say it was again this one given by Acker. Acker basically talks about 5 human traits that can be associated with a brand. So, one is the sincerity. So, if the brand is considered as a sincere brand, example can be Patagonia or Dove. Then some of the brands can be visualized or portrayed as exciting brand, right. So, when I talk about products like Red Bull, then they are symbol of excitement. Most of the concert, I mean many concerts, they will sponsor something of the concern because they want to showcase themselves as a brand which is more about excitement. Then there is another personality called the competence. Some of the companies will try to portray itself as a competent company. Example can be Google, example can be Volvo, right. Then sophistication, a classy portrayal, right. So, it can be for upper class, charming and glamorous lifestyle. One example of this particular human traits can be Rolex. Rolex is not for everybody. Rolex is basically portrayed for the classy people. Then similarly ruggedness. So, the brand is being portrayed as a rug brand. Example is like when Toyota tries to presents its Fortuner, or Tata Motors tries to portray its safari vehicle. So, they are known for its ruggedness. So, in this way brand can be actually mapped to your personality. Then organizational associations. Brand is always related to the organization that it is associated with. Who are the original equipment manufacturer? Next one is your brand equity is also related, will also be evaluated based on awareness level of the brand. The more the brand is known, more brand equity it can charge. Market share or market price, your dominance in the market. So, if you are a well known brand, if many people are buying your product, then probably your brand equity is on the higher side. Then distribution coverage, whether you have a intensive distribution or limited distribution or selective distribution, especially for FMCG products. If you have an intensive distribution, you can have a brand equity. Why Amul is known so, known as kind of brand of India? Because it is almost available everywhere, from big cities to rural areas. So, everywhere they are more or less available. That is why they have a better brand equity. Akkar does not weight the attributes or combine them in all overall score, as he believes any weighting would be arbitrary and would vary among the brands and the categories. Rather, what he recommends is tracking each of these attributes separately. He does not advocate for an weighted average, rather what he suggests is to look into various attributes separately. So, this is all about the brand equity 10. It talks about 10 attributes associated with the brand, which can be used to evaluate or measure the brand equity. Then next matrix, which is called brand equity index, which was given by Bill Moran. So, he derived this index of brand equity as a product of three factors. The first factor is the effective market share, then second one is the relative price, and third one is the durability. Basically, your brand equity is a combination of all these three important factors. Now, let us look at each of these parameter or each of these factors one by one. What is effective market share? It is nothing but an weighted average. This represents the sum of brands' market share in all segments in which it competes, weighted by each of these segments proportion of the brand's total sales, right. So, basically it is nothing but, if you combine this one, it will look into your presence in various segments and what is your dominance in each of these segments and what is the size of each of these segments, and depending on that it will come up with a effective market share. So, I will show you with numerical examples how effective market share is calculated. Then relative price. What is it? Relative price is nothing but a ratio. This represents the price of goods sold under a given brand divided by the average price of that comparable goods in the market. What is the industry benchmark in terms of price and what is your price? So, if the value is more than 1, then you are charging a premium over the industry benchmark. If it is 1, you are at par the industry benchmark, and if it is lesser than 1, then in that case you are charging a lesser price than the industry benchmark. Then third factor is durability. Durability is a measure of customers' retention or loyalty. It represents the percentage of a brand's customers who will continue to buy goods under that brand in the subsequent time frame. Basically, it talks about durability. It talks about a customer's relationship with the brand for how many years, for how many months. So, these are the three factors based on which the concept of brand equity is constructed as per Bill Moran, right. So, let us look more into this brand equity index. Let us say we will look into a problem. ILLI is a tonic drink that focuses on two geographic markets, that is the eastern and the western US metropolitan areas. In the western market, which accounts for 60% of the ILLI's sales, the drink has 30% share of the market, right. In the east, where ILLI makes the remaining 40% of the sales, it has a 50% share of the market. Now, we need to calculate the effective market share. Effective market share is equal to the sum of the ILLI's shares of the segment weighted by the percentage of total brand sales represented by each of this segment. So, for West it is, what is your market share? My market share is 30%, and what is your overall sales in the West? It is 60%. So, 30% multiplied by 60%, that is 0.18, and for the East market your market share is 50%, but you account for 40% of your total revenue or total units sold. So, 50% multiplied by 40%, it will give you a value of 0.2. Therefore, my effective market share will be 0.18 plus 0.2, that is 0.38. Now, from the same example, let us calculate the relative price. Let us say the average price of tonic drinks is $2, but ILLI enjoys a premium. It generally sells the tonic drink at $2.5. So, what will be the relative price? It will be 2.5 divided by 2, that is 1.25. Similarly, half of the people who purchase ILLI this year are expected to repeat the next year. That is why the durability figure will be 0.5, because 50% of the customers are going to purchase the product in the next time frame as well. Therefore, with this information, ILLI's brand equity index can be calculated as 0.38 multiplied by 1.25 multiplied by 0.5, that is 0.2375, right. So, basically it talks about three factors, three important factors. What is your dominance in the market? What is your, what is the price premium that you are charging, and ultimately what is the durability of your brand with your customers. Then next approach that we will look into is brand asset valuator, which was given by Young and Rubicon. So, Young and Rubicon was a marketing communication agency. This company has developed a brand asset valuator, a tool to diagnose the power and value of a brand. In using it, the agency surveys customers' perspectives among 4 dimensions. So, these dimensions are important. One is, first one, what he says is that brand equity is derived from differentiation. Differentiation means whether you have been able to differentiate yourself in the industry or not. Basically, it is the defining characteristics of the brand and its distinctiveness relative to the competitors. Second one, what is your relevance in the industry? Basically, the appropriateness and connection of the brand to a given consumer or consumer segments. Then next characteristics is esteem. Esteem is nothing but consumers' respect for and attraction to the brand. Like when I talk about smartphone, I always think about iPhone. Then knowledge. Knowledge basically is a surrogate of consumers' awareness about your brand. When I talk about consumers, I am basically referring to the target segment. Fine. So, this is how the brand asset valuator is being, they use to construct the brand equity matrix. Then going further, so we can look into various cases, various situations. The brand asset valuator is a proprietary tool, but the concept behind it has broad appeal. Young and Rubicam maintain that these 4 dimensions reveal important factors behind a brand strength and market dynamics. Look at an example. Although the powerful brands score high on all 4 dimensions, growing brands may earn higher grades for differentiation and relevance, but they may have a lower score in terms of knowledge and esteem. On the other hand, I mean the brands which used to be a market leader in the industry for some time, but their relevance is going down, basically the fading brands, they often show the reverse pattern. They are probably wide known and respected, but may be declining towards commoditization and irrelevance. So, you can see on the right hand side of this slide, you can see 4 diagrams. So, for growing brand, the differentiation and relevance is high, but esteem and knowledge is lesser. For a this one strong brand, all the 4 factors will be on the higher side. For a weak brand, all the 4 factors will be on the lower side. Similarly, for a declining brand which used to be a market leader at some point of time, for them differentiation and relevance is no more there, but they are good in terms of awareness and they are good in terms of esteem. Then next comes this brand finance. So, this was founded in 1996. It is a independent intangible asset valuation consultancy based in the United Kingdom with offices in more than 20 countries. This particular firm or organization, it uses a methodology that specifies 3 alternative brand valuation approach. The first one is loyalty relief methodology, then loyalty relief valuation formula, and ultimately the brand rating approach. As far as the loyalty relief methodology is concerned, this particular approach is based on the assumption that if the company did not own the trademarks that it benefits from, it would need to license them from a third party brand owner and probably pay a license fees to them. Ownership of the trademarks relieves the company from paying the loyalty fee. The second approach is loyalty relief valuation formula. This particular approach involves estimating the likely future sales. So, how it is done? It is done by applying an appropriate royalty rate to them and then discounting the estimated future post tax royalties to arrive at a net present value of the premium that can be charged. This is held to represent the brand value. And the last approach as far as this firm is concerned is called the brand rating. In determining the appropriate royalty rate, the brand finance establishes a range of comparable royalty rates and determines the point within the range that the brand under review falls by reference to a brand rating. The brand is then calculated using the brand's finances, something called a brand beta analysis, which we are not going to discuss in detail, but what we can say, it is the benchmark of the strength, risk and potential of a brand. And this particular strength, risk and potential of the brand is evaluated in relation to its competitor. So, these are the 3 approaches of looking into the brand equity. Then another company called Brandzy. So, basically it is nothing but Brandzy is a database and it belongs to Millward Brown. It holds the data from more than 2 million consumers and professionals across 31 countries, comparing more than 23,000 brands. The database is used to estimate the brand valuations and each year since 2006 has been used to generate a list of top 100 global brands. Its methodology's objective is to peel away all the financial components of the brand value to determine how much the brand alone contribute to the brand value, right. So, brand value can be contributed from multiple dimensions. One is, let us say you are a leader in terms of price. So, that is why you are known in the market, but when we calculate the brand equity, then we have to separate it out. What is your value only in terms of the brand? Brand Z uses the following pillars to anchor its brand valuation, and these anchors are meaningful, different and salient. So, we can look into brand equity as a function of whether the brand is meaningful enough, whether the brand is different enough and whether the brand is salient enough. In any category, the brands appeal more generate greater love if you have a better appeal. So, as we know that in product market traction there has to be a proper value wedge, and then only you can make a better brand appeal to your customers, which will derive more brand love. Then next one is different. You have to stand out in the market, you have to create some level of differentiation, and that is why companies used to come up with something called USP, unique selling proposition. So, unique selling proposition is nothing but your differentiation strategy. These brands are unique in positive way and set the trends, staying ahead of the curve for the benefit of the consumers. Then third dimension, that is the salient. They come spontaneously to mind as the brand of choice for the key needs. The moment somebody asks me about smartphone, which smartphone should be bought, the first thing that come to my mind is, let us say, iPhone. Somebody asks me about a personal vehicle, the first thing that comes to my mind is, let us say, the Tata Motors. Now, let us look at the 3 steps associated with this brand Z database. First thing what it does, it calculate the financial value, because we need to separate out all other factors than anything that can be relatable to the brand only, right. So, we have to first calculate the financial value. First thing that we need to calculate in order to calculate the financial value is to determine the total corporate earnings. Then analyze the financial information to yield the attribution rate. Attribution rate means, what part of the value is attributed to financial value. Corporate earnings multiplied by attribution rate is equal to branded earnings. Now, in the next step, once we have finished calculating this branded earning, we can take the help of this metric called branded earning to calculate the brand contribution. We are going to the next stage. So, how can we calculate the brand contribution? First, we have to multiply the branded earnings with brand multiples, which will give us a financial value. Now, once we get this financial value, we have to separate out the factors such as, is the financial value because of the price, is the financial value because of the distribution channel, is the financial value because of the convenience. So, these things, once we separate out these things, probably the company Amul is creating a lot of value because of its intensive distribution. So, we have to come up with a mechanism to separate this attribution, and ultimately once this brand contribution is calculated, then we will calculate the brand value. So, how we can calculate this? Take the financial value and multiply it by the brand contribution, which is expressed as a percentage of financial value, and this results in your brand value. Fine. So, this is the valuation process of brand equity as far as brand Z database is concerned. Then there is another consultancy that this one talks about a brand valuation model, which is by Interbrand. This is a division of a company called Omnicom. Is a brand consultancy which is headquartered in New York City. It publishes the best global brands report on an annual basis. This report identifies the world's top 100 valuable brands. its methodology is also the first of its kinds to be ISO certified. So, I mean a credence is being assigned to this methodology. To develop the report, Interbrand examined 3 key aspects that contribute to the brand's value. The first one is the financial performance of the branded products or service, how they are doing in terms of finances, then the role of the brand plays in influencing the consumer choice, then ultimately the strength the brand has to command a premium price or secure a earning for the company. Let us delve into detail. Financial analysis, this measures the overall financial return to an organization's investors or its economic profit. So, basically what is economic profit? It is the after tax operating profit of the brand minus a charge for the capital used to generate the brand's revenue and margins. So, tax minus whatever you are paying in terms of interest or what is this called, interest or something, the cost of your equity, right. So, which can also be termed as, which is also termed as dividend. Then role of brand. Role of brand measures the portion of the purchase decision attributable to the brand as opposed to other factors. For example, purchase drivers like price, convenience or product features. The role of brand index quantifies this as a percentage. So, what we are doing here is we are basically separating out the impacts which are happening other than anything of the brand. So, this can be the price, this can be the discount, this can be the convenience, this can be the quality of the product. Then ultimately what we are going to do is calculate the brand strength. Brand strength basically measures the ability of the brand to create loyalty and therefore sustainable demand and profit into the future. Brand strength analysis is based on an evaluation across several factors that Interbrand believes makes a strong brand. Okay, so these factors can include factors related to leadership, factors related to stability, factors related to market, factors related to your geographical coverage, factors related to trend, factors related to organizational support and factors related to protection such as intellectual property right, etc. Fine. So, this is all about today's class. So, we have tried to understand brand equity as a matrix, we tried to understand why brand equity is important. We have also seen the challenges associated in quantifying the brand equity, and then we have looked into multiple approach to visualize brand equity as a metric. Thank you. I will see you in the next class.